what is your just assessment right now? I'm going to open it up and go macro of the state of college football. How would you describe it, Greg Sankey?
Yeah, it's a time of change. I think in the midst of change, there are sound fundamentals. So we look at attendance, viewership, interest, feedback. There's a lot of good. There's a lot of opportunity that's been created. But I'd say frustration levels are higher than maybe we've experienced, because as we walk through the economic opportunities provided to young people, the transfer opportunities, the timing of coaching changes, which relates to the bigger calendar. So when we're talking about macro, those are some of the frontline issues. You saw disagreement over college football playoff selections. That has occurred for years. What's interesting now is, rather than argue about like 4 and 5, like a couple of years ago, we're arguing about 11, 12, 13, and 14. The issue of needing to make decisions and kind of put some of those balls that are bouncing around or that are up in the air that we're juggling, put them back on the rack, if you accept that metaphor, I think is really important to mitigate that frustration. So I think there's, it's the best at times and the worst at times at each moment in football right now.
Well, to me, the way I look at it, and when you say, hey, we used to argue about who's 4 and 5 and 6, now it's just lower down. And if the college football playoffs do expand, we'll talk about, 15, 16, 17, or who knows how many it can get to. The thing that I think is that there's not enough rules that need to happen, and then the rules that are happening need tweaking, as you pointed out, about when players are allowed to hit the portal, coaches needing to make decisions about their futures right at the outset of playoffs. And my question is who's going to when can we actually corral these things, Commissioner?
I'll be happy to corral these things myself, but let's go back and understand the why that we're here. So fundamentally, let's just take Oklahoma and Alabama Friday night. Mm-hmm. What the young people on our teams ask is to know that the people across the line of scrimmage are held to the same standards that they're held to. So not having this universe be governed on a state-by-state basis. Now that started in 2019 with NIL-related legislation, progress to 2021 when it all accelerated. We then have a set of court decisions that have, to a certain extent, governed our ability to make our own decisions around transfer rules. The same with length of eligibility. The same with seasons of eligibility and how those are calculated. So I saw yesterday somebody's looking for year 7 or 8. And those are all different elements that are imposed externally. Now, how do you corral, using that word, those issues internally? That is the essential challenge. And it's not that there's not motivation to make decisions. It is, what can you control? So what decisions might we make on a conference basis? What has to be decided on a national basis? And in what structure can that set of decisions be protected?
So let's take it, I guess, if you will, if you don't mind, one at a time, because just in recent days, let's just start again with coaches that can be bought out. That a coach can be bought out. In a perfect example is what's happening in your conference. I mean, the video that I was showing the day that Lane Kiffin left for Ole Miss, putting it on the screen. I mean, I'm sure you don't want fans showing up at an FBO cursing out a coach as he walks onto a private jet sent by one member school to take him from another member school. $3 million exchanging hands between member schools. Would you be up for having contracts where coaches aren't allowed to be bought out? Period. End of story.
Well, I don't know that that's reality. But let's go back to the warning that I provided a decade ago, mm-hmm. which was, by making recruiting decisions a December event rather than a February event, we have moved from the day when Nick Saban was hired at Alabama, that happened in early mid-January, back in 2007, 2008, to every head coaching position that was open being decided in late November and early December. So it's not about one circumstance. And keep in mind, we had a set of we have 5 coaching openings as it happened in this league. And that will happen in other places. We force this calendar to make decisions early. Now, could you do that contractually? Sure. And we've had schools that have put, if you will, non-compete clauses in coaches' contracts within our league that limits their ability to just move. But what's the level of buyout that makes that sufficient? I think there are a set of factors that have to be understood. If we move that recruiting to a different time frame where you could promote coaches' stability, seems to me that's something we can actually control first rather than every individual contractual relationship.
Hey, you made it all the way to the end. Thanks for that. Check us out every single day streaming live on Disney Plus and the ESPN app 12 to 3 Eastern.